What's up, everyone?
Dr. Maxfield,
Dr. Shah, and we're back.
we try to keep things on a positive note, so we well, except for your devices video, but generally we like to talk about things that are going to help you. This time, we're going to go a little bit the other direction.
What are you wasting your money on potentially that is not going to help you? Maybe can even hurt you, but mostly just not going to help you, and something that gets a lot of hype on social media. People promote a lot of these things, but at the end of the day, there's not a lot of evidence to support them, and everything that they claim to do, they probably don't do. So today, we're talking about the things that are overrated, overhyped, things you don't need, things you can leave in the past, and focus on things that actually do work.
Yeah, sometimes I consider this to be almost the worst thing out there. So like fragrance is the thing a lot of people hate. Sometimes I'm like, ineffective products are just as bad almost.
You know why I think this is harmful? Because trust is one of the most important things. We always talk about this, right? We try to deliver information that is going to stand the test of time. And at the end of the day, when people promote products that don't work, that you waste your money on, you lose trust and faith in the system. And that's super dangerous because then you don't want to participate in the system. You think everything doesn't work. You lose trust for the overall system, and then none of it works. So this whole system is built on trust. And I think that when people promote things that don't work, that's where you start to cause them harm. So without further ado, overrated skincare, let's go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, so who do you want to take down first?
Who do I want to obliterate? Pretty much the whole device industry, I just think that, devices, they must have like a big markup or something because, they get so heavily promoted and none of them really work or do what they say they're going to do. But, I'll kind of pick apart each one of these things individually. But let's start with cleansing devices, cleansing brushes, vibrating cleansing combs, I don't know, whatever else you call them. There's a bunch that exist out there. Let's start with the harmful, Clarisonic. So Clarisonic now going out of business, fortunately, but this is a company that sells rotating little bristles brushes. First, I don't like them because they harbor a ton of bacteria in them. They don't have anything that keeps the bacteria away like silicone, and they also cause too much vibration, which can be helpful to exfoliate a little bit, but like I said in the past, I prefer chemical exfoliation over physical exfoliation, and I honestly think it causes more long-term damage to the skin than long-term benefit to the skin.
So this is an interesting thing because in the office, we actually do a lot of physical exfoliation, but I think what Dr. Shaw was talking about, we do control a lot of things in the office. Everything is like very sterile, everything is very deliberate, even to the depth at which you're exfoliating. So having these over-the-counter options for just mechanical brushes, mechanical cleansers, it's just like, I don't know, it just ends up damaging, scratching, roughening up the skin, and really leads to more harm than good.
Yeah, I think some of these things, when they're done by like an esthetician as part of like a spa treatment, whether it be dermaplaning or microdermabrasion or hydrofacial, or even somebody who's skilled enough to do these kind of things at home, I think if you do it like once a month, that's where you're really going to see the benefit of them. But when you're constantly exfoliating your skin with the Clarisonic brush every single day, you're more likely to cause long-term damage to your skin. And so those are out. Now let's talk about the ones that are actually not harmful, which is the silicone brushes, your Foreo devices, your PMD beauty devices. At the end of the day, they're actually pretty good. They have a gentle vibration. They have some pulsations that help to kind of clear out the skin and break up makeup on the skin and get your pores clear. At the end of the day, you really can just use your hands. I wash my face with my hands 99% of the time, and I own all of these devices, and they basically just collect dust in my house. One of the biggest wastes of money that I've spent on skincare is buying some of these cleansing devices. You don't need them. They're a nice addition if you have time to use them and you keep them charged all the time, which I could never do. But at the end of the day, you don't need them. Anyone who's telling you need these cleansing devices, don't believe them.
So yeah, this is so important because look, you can spend your money in a lot of different areas in skincare. And if you're going to allocate that money to something, like this is not that area. Cleansing can be pretty simple. So just take that, shift your finances elsewhere, and leave this there.
Cleansing should be actually one of the cheapest parts of your routine, even from what cleanser you choose to just using your hands. Drop the cleansing devices. If you like them, keep using them.
Okay, next up, this is one of my least favorite things to see, any variation of this, but the blackhead strips.
Blackhead strips, and they get probably an appropriate amount of hate on. Maybe they're actually, they might be hated more than they deserve. Actually, they are highly hated on social media, so we're not, this is not novel information you're receiving here. But let's just kind of jump into why, because I think people use them. I use them actually maybe once every 2 months or so, just because the little hairs that come on the skin, I think everyone gets a little bit of tiny little hairs, little vellus hairs, and sometimes people can have what we call trichostasis spinulosa.
It's a huge thing, like not all blackheads are the same, right?
That's true. So not all blackheads are created equal. Sometimes you have true blackheads, which are basically open comedones that oxidize. Then you have sebaceous filaments, which is just normal oil production that you have in your skin, and everybody has them. And some people have it worse than others, some people don't. And then you also have little hairs on your skin, which we sometimes refer to as trichostasis spinulosa.
Yeah, so it's, again, a part of being deliberate. So there's like minutia like this that a dermatologist might pick up on. And unfortunately, these things can look the same to the naked eye, but what they actually are, and therefore the treatment, is very different.
Right. So I think most people are trying to treat sebaceous filaments when they're using their pore strips, and that really is not the way to do it. It causes a lot of inflammation, but if you do it once a month, once every other month, really not harmful. My concern is you're not treating the underlying problem, which is the sebaceous filaments. And so the 3 ingredients I recommend for this, retinoids are very helpful. Salicylic acid, my 2 favorite products for this are the ordinary salicylic acid mask and the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant. And then oil production. So niacinamide is a great ingredient for this. And my new favorite of the niacinamide category, which I've been raving about, is the First Aid Beauty Niacinamide Dark Spot Serum. So that's amazing. 5% niacinamide, I'm obsessed.
Okay, but here's a little trick with that. So EltaMD's UV Clear, if you look at their sunscreen product line, you can also slip in niacinamide at the end. They also have a 5% niacinamide in one of their sunscreens. So
that's true. And like I've always said, having it in your other skincare products is definitely appropriate. But if you want a serum, I like the First Aid Beauty one. If you want to incorporate it into your moisturizers, CeraVe PM has a pretty high concentration of niacinamide, and also EltaMD sunscreen has a pretty high concentration of niacinamide. So pore strips, okay to use to remove those tiny little hairs from your skin if that's what the reason you're using them for. Use them maybe once a month, once every other month. This is not something you want in your daily or weekly skincare routine. And if you have blackheads or sebaceous filaments, focus on these other ingredients. The tiny hairs, there's really no other way to remove them other than to tweeze each one of them out individually or use something like a pore strip. Next up, it's time to obliterate Jade Rollers. You know what? Jade Rollers, I think it depends on your sort of thought process here. Certainly overrated. Certainly. This is not up for debate, but the question is whether or not can you use one, can you not use one? They're actually not the worst thing in the world, especially if you're the kind of person that finds the skincare experience to be very important to you, and that's okay, right? Like if you're somebody who likes fragrance because of the experience of skincare, that's okay too. If you like to use Jade Rollers because you really just like that idea of having this very elegant skincare routine, that's okay. You may be the kind of person that runs for fun. I'm not that kind of person. You know what I mean? There are certain people that like the experience. I like the results. And so I don't use things for the experience.
Yeah, and I'm about effectiveness. It's a huge part of why I pick a product. And so Jade Roller is just over-promising. It's basically effleurage.
Yeah.
It's just not with somebody's hands. And so effleurage is with lymphatic movement, lymphatic drainage. And so, it's good. It does move the fluids down to your lymph nodes, back to your heart, back to the rest of your body.
Yep.
But that's absolutely as far as I could take a Jade Roller.
Right. So that's pretty much all it does. They're very cool to the touch, so they can kind of help with puffiness temporarily in the morning. You can kind of move it towards your lymphatics, so you definitely want to move them outward and then sort of downwards towards where your thoracic inlet is. And so this is kind of the deranged patterns of your lymphatics, and it can help with puffiness, but it's not going to build collagen. It's not going to cure acne. It's not going to help with rosacea. These are all going to be temporary benefits. You may be able to help smooth out your skincare products on your skin so they get more even.
Smoothing? Smooshing?
Smooshing?
Smushing. Even smushing is what we're going for here.
But really, no long-term benefits. Definitely something you don't need in your skincare routine. If you have one and you like it, use it. Certainly overrated.
Okay, so this next one I've decided is like my new favorite enemy.
It's like his nemesis. Like he's so mad about this ingredient. Like I swear, he talks every day. He just looks at me and he's like, God, vitamin E. I just hate it. I hate It's a little aggressive if you ask me, but
So I think it's because I grew up with this. So I actually grew up in a totally pure essential oils, like oil-based, naturopathic household. And like there's a discussion to be had about that, and there's a lot of rules for stuff like that. But vitamin E in particular, it's like the epitome of something with a lot of hype, a lot of name recognition. But not only does it underperform, it performs poorly and harmfully. But there's actually studies out there saying that it just doesn't work.
Doesn't work, quite frankly. So there's a trend on TikTok at some point of people buying the vitamin E capsules and then using that as like a skincare ingredient and saying that it healed acne scars and things like that. So definitely over promises. It does have some benefit but in what situations?
Right. So vitamin E, it can be touted as an antioxidant, but first off, you have a myriad of antioxidants to choose from. Like if you rub a smushed blueberry on your face, boom, antioxidant in a lot of different ways. But it's not
high
stable.
in resveratrol.
Yeah, but vitamin E is not stable. It needs help from vitamin C, ferulic acid, just to function.
Right. So vitamin E alone, not many long-term benefits. Additionally, for stretch marks, no benefit. I mean, this has been proven time and time again. Vitamin E does not have a benefit for that. So definitely overrated. If you see it in your skincare ingredients, okay to have, has some antioxidant benefits, but you really shouldn't hang your hat on a vitamin E product as having any long-term benefits for the skin. All right. Pore vacuums. I feel like Pore vacuums, I feel like I am once a month. I have to basically tell people not to use Pore vacuums on social media. Like, people love Pore vacuums, and they're so fun to watch for people.
Why? Why is this fun for you guys?
I mean, some people like getting all that junk out of the pores and watching it. I mean, people have gone as far as to put cameras inside of the Pore vacuum. Like, they need to know what's going inside of the vacuum. I mean, it's just insane. It's insanity, and I don't like them. In fact, I hate them. Okay.
First, I get how it could be satisfying if you're on the receiving end of it. Like all of a sudden, like all this gunk comes out of your face. There's probably some immediate gratification there. But yeah, watching it is just, I don't know, it's just kind of gross, right? But also overall, like effectiveness. Now we'll move on to like something less subjective. So why do we hate them?
Well, what are they doing? They're basically lifting out all the junk that's in your pores. So that's oil, dead skin cells, things like this, right? But they're not solving the underlying problem, which means that they're just going to reaccumulate, and they may reaccumulate more rapidly because now you've irritated the skin and basically told it needs to produce more of what it was producing. So it's really just going to trigger something that's going to make your skin worse off in the long run. And the other problem is that people just crank the settings up on these things, and that actually leads to bruising. It can lead to permanent telangiectasias, which are basically red vessels on the skin. And once those form, they need to be treated with the laser. And so there's no skincare product that can touch those. So you could actually permanently damage your skin by using these Pore vacuums.
Yeah, Pore vacuums just, are they out yet? I feel like they've got to be on their way out.
Nope, they're on the rise more than ever.
That's amazing.
So what would you use instead?
So we're talking about targeting oil glands, right? So we have to be using our retinoids. We have to be using our niacinamide. We have to be using, I guess that's it.
Salicylic acid, right?
Salicylic
acid. So definitely focus on those products as well, and that is going to help you way more in the long run to keep your pores looking nice and slim. We will link our video above of how to shrink your pores. Actually, still my favorite video. I still think it was our best video.
It was good.
It was good, and nobody watched it, but it was a good video, and I liked it. I was proud of it. All right, this last one is a little bit of a low-hanging fruit.
Totally low-hanging fruit. We almost didn't include it because it's too easy, and
we're just gonna pile on everybody else, just like kick somebody while they're down, That's basically what we're doing right now.
But there's no debate in my mind. Like toners. If you're using it, this has a very niche role if to be used at all.
Now, something might be called a toner, and it's not really. Like, there's a green tea toner from this company called Isntree. It's a Korean company, and it's like 90% green tea. Well, the green tea has benefits for the skin, and they called it a toner, but if you use it as like a serum, totally fine. You would see the benefits that you would see with green tea.
So what is a toner?
Yeah,
I think that's actually a really important question, because now we're getting into branding where they're saying things are what they're really not. Toners are something that are historically have been used to strip the skin. So they're supposed to be used after cleansing, cleansing to get rid of whatever residues left on your face. Obviously, you can use it after shaving for the same purpose. But here's the deal, like you've just washed your face. You're spending a lot of money sometimes on a high-end facial cleanser that's really effective to begin with. And then you're just gonna like try to strip nothing after that.
Right, because historically, astringents were important because of residue, because of pH balance, and now that's all out of the way. We have very gentle cleansers. You don't need a toner, but I swear anytime I post any skincare routine video, any top products for anything, someone's like, what about toner? And my answer is you don't need a toner. I don't use a toner. I've never used a toner other than back when I used Proactive and it just tore my skin up. So, you know, if you are using something that is called the toner, but it has actives in it, salicylic acid for acne, green tea for your benefits of green tea, which helps with oil and blah, 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 whatever. At the end of the day, there are ingredients that are called toners that are really actives, and those are okay. But your classic toners, like your pure alcohol astringents from Neutrogena or the other one, the blue one, what's it called?
I know what you're talking about.
Sea Breeze or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was Sea Breeze.
If you have a witch hazel toner, probably unnecessary. The one from
Procure. Procure makes a very nice fragrance-free, alcohol-free product. Look, here's the deal. I'm neutral on witch hazel as an ingredient.
But either way, regardless of how you feel about witch hazel, it's not a necessary part of your skincare routine. So a witch hazel toner, unnecessary. If you have acne and you have a salicylic acid thing that is marketed as a toner, then it may have benefit to the skin. That's why you got to be very deliberate about what you're choosing in your skincare routine and decide whether or not it's actually something that's treating one of the conditions that you're trying to treat. And so if you have a toner and you don't know why you're using your toner, then maybe you don't need your toner at all. And so actually in my skincare routine, I've completely eliminated toner because I don't have a role for toner in my routine. So that's our summary of overhyped, overrated skincare products, things you don't need. We'll do a lot more videos like this, I think. This is just sort of the intro of things that we just get asked about a lot. What do you think about this? And my answer is some of them can have some benefit. Some of them can be harmful. Some of them are totally okay. But at the end of the day, you don't need any of these things in your skincare routine. So if you're budgeting,
out. Overpromised, underdelivered, this list.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, thanks y'all. We appreciate all the feedback. We appreciate being able to go through this with you.